The stars above the planet Eliza shimmered faintly, as if watching in silence. It was a peaceful world, mostly. A small alien colony lived there, farmers, traders, workers. They were not soldiers, not warriors. Just families trying to survive, but peace didn't last long. A strange illness had spread across the colony. It started slow, fevers, weakness, skin turning pale blue. The local doctors had no cure. Their own medicine failed. Then came the deaths. One by one, their people began to fall. Captain Lurian, leader of the colony, stood inside the small command center. He looked old, tired, but full of worry. Behind him, the medical chief spoke fast, her voice shaking. "We've lost 10 today. And the children, they are next." Lurian pressed his hand to the table. He had no choice. They had tried every contact in their region. Every nearby world had turned them away. No help. No response. Except one place, far away, feared by many. Earth. No one calls Earth unless it's the end, his advisor said. They are different. Dangerous. Lurian nodded. But maybe danger is what we need now. He sent the signal. Short. Clear. Honest. Eliza colony requests urgent medical aid. Our people are dying. Anyone, please help. It was broadcast. Into deep space, into the dark where even light traveled slow. Then, they waited. Hours passed. Then days. More people died, and then, the sky changed. The sun dimmed for a moment. A shadow crossed the sky, larger than anything the colonists had ever seen. Their scanners screamed warnings. Something massive was entering orbit. Children ran to windows. Adults stepped outside in fear. Above them floated a giant black warship. It was silent. Its edges sharp, almost unnatural. Strange glowing patterns moved along its hull like it was alive. It's not a medical ship. Someone whispered. No name or welcome came. Just a voice, calm, deep, and human. This is the Terran vessel Judgment. Your distress call was received. Quarantine measures in effect. All personnel remain indoors. Lurian's heart sank. This wasn't what he wanted. He had asked for medicine. For doctors. But this was something else. The ship began dropping metal spheres from its lower bay. Each hit the ground and unfolded into tall black machines that walked on long legs. They scanned everything. No one moved. Then the machines began to speak. Infection source, non-natural origin. Biological agent confirmed. Planet now under Terran protection. The colonists didn't understand. Non-natural. What did that mean? Then one of the doctors gasped. Are they saying this sickness was made? Lurian turned to her. By who? No one answered. But above them, the ship began charging. Lights turned red. A hum filled the sky. Something was coming. Lurian looked up. He hadn't called for a war, but Earth had brought one anyway. The Terran ship Judgment hovered above the colony like a black storm cloud. Its presence was heavy, silent, and impossible to ignore. The people of Eliza watched from their homes and windows, too afraid to step outside. The quarantine drones walked through the colony like sentinels. Tall, black, smooth machines with red eyes. They scanned everything, buildings, plants, even the animals. Inside the command center, Captain Lurian paced restlessly. His advisors stared at the screen showing the Terran warship. One of them whispered, "We called for help, not this." "I know," Lurian replied, "but maybe this is Earth's version of help." Just then, a loud hum filled the air. The screen changed. A face appeared, human. A woman. Her hair was tied back, her uniform simple, but her eyes were cold. "I am Commander Isla of the Judgment. Your colony is infected with a Class 5 biothreat. You are no longer in control of your planet. Earth now holds jurisdiction." Lurian stepped forward. "Wait. We needed medical aid, not a military occupation." Commander Isla didn't blink. "Earth's protocol is clear. Any unknown infection spreading in a civilian colony is treated as a threat. We've already confirmed the illness is not natural. Someone made it. The room fell silent. Made it? Lurian asked. You mean, someone created this sickness? Yes, Isla said. This isn't a virus born from your world. It's been engineered. And not by Earth. A murmur went through the room. The doctor beside Lurian looked shocked. Are you saying we were attacked? Isla's voice remained steady. That's what we are here to find out. Lurian stared at the screen. And if it was an attack? The human's voice grew even colder. Then Earth will respond. Outside, more Terran machines were landing. This time, they were smaller, shaped like pods. From them came humans in black armor, helmets sealed, carrying gear and scanners. The colonists backed away. Mothers held their children close. But the soldiers didn't hurt anyone. They walked calmly, scanning people, taking samples, treating the sick. Their tools glowed with strange blue lights. They moved like they had done this 1,000 times, and still, no one smiled. Not even once, inside the colony's medical center. The human soldiers worked fast. One of them removed his helmet. A man, pale-skinned with a deep scar on his chin. He walked over to a dying boy and injected something into his arm. Within seconds, the boy opened his eyes, his breathing. The alien nurse shouted. He was almost gone. The human nodded but said nothing. The same scene repeated across the colony. One after another, sick colonists were treated. Some recovered quickly. Some didn't. But for the first time in days, hope returned. Back in the command room, Commander Isla's voice came again. We've stabilized most of your population. Our medtech is holding the infection back, but it's only temporary. Why temporary? Lurian asked. Because we haven't found the source yet. Until then, it could return. Lurian's fists clenched. Do you think someone nearby released this? Isla's image faded and was replaced by a red blinking icon. Then came one word. Confirmed. Everyone turned toward the window. Far beyond the mountains, a ship was rising into the sky. Not Terran. Not Eliza. Unknown design. Sleek. Fast. A drone shot upward from Judgment and chased it instantly. Within seconds, the sky lit up. A bright flash, the unknown ship exploded midair. No warning. No mercy. The humans didn't wait. They had made their decision, Lurian whispered. That was too fast. One of his advisors looked shaken. They must have known all along. They let it take off just to see where it would go. Back on the screen, Isla returned. We have confirmed the source. The attack was artificial. You were not the target. You were the test. Lurian's voice trembled. Tested by who? Commander Isla's answer was short. We intend to find out. And we will burn through anyone who gets in our way. The screen went black again. Outside, the Terran deathship rumbled low. Not with sound, but with purpose, and for the first time, the people of Eliza understood something deep and terrifying. Earth didn't save lives the way others did. It eliminated threats. To save them. Asterisk. The sky was clear again. The unknown ship was gone, destroyed by a single pulse from the Terran deathship. There was no celebration. Just silence. The colonists of Eliza stood in their streets, watching the black warship above. It had come in answer to a call for help. But its help came with fire, steel, and silence. In the colony's central plaza, the Terran soldiers began placing small machines into the soil, tiny black spikes that disappeared underground. Lurian, the colony leader, stepped forward, his voice uncertain. What are they doing now? He asked one of the human medics. The medic, a tall man with calm eyes, replied, sensors. Deep scans. We need to know if the infection has more roots. Lurian frowned. You already found the source. It was that ship. The medic didn't smile. We think the ship was only part of it. The infection may have been seeded in your water. Your food. Someone wanted it to spread quietly and then burn you from the inside. Lurian's mouth went dry. Why would someone do that to us? The medic looked at him. Because your world is near a trade route. Small, peaceful, undefended. A perfect testing ground. Lurian turned away. His people were pawns. Not even targets, just tools for Someone else's war games. Up above, on the Judgment, Commander Isla stood in the command deck. Around her were holo screens, filled with data. One showed the genetic structure of the disease. Another displayed a map of the nearby star systems. Have we cracked the pathogen? She asked her science officer. Almost, the officer replied. But it's strange. Parts of the virus match designs used by the Corex combine. But other sections look human. Isla narrowed her eyes. Human? Are you sure? The officer nodded. Some gene patterns match Terran biological tech, about 50 years old. Possibly stolen or copied. This is a hybrid. Commander Isla stepped back. Someone got hold of Earth's old weapons and used them on civilians. She turned to her communications officer. Prepare a message. Galactic wideband. He tapped his screen. Ready. Isla's voice was steady, but it carried weight like thunder. This is Commander Isla of the Terran vessel Judgment. A Class 5 bioweapon has been deployed against a civilian colony on Eliza. Source identified and eliminated. Evidence points to unauthorized use of Terran biological technology. To those responsible, you created a weapon using stolen human science. You tested it on innocents. Earth does not forgive this. We are coming. The message echoed across the stars. In every system near Eliza, fleets received it. Pirates, traders, governments, and others, the ones who thought Earth had grown soft, suddenly remembered why no one had dared to cross humanity in a century back. On Eliza, the colonists watched as the black Terran drones began collecting samples from the destroyed attackers' wreckage. The flames were still fresh. The smoke still rising. One drone stopped beside Lurian. It opened a small hatch and showed him something, a metal shard, etched with a strange symbol. Lurian squinted. I've never seen that before. The medic beside him did. His face grew grim. I have. That's the mark of the Red Hand Syndicate. Lurian blinked. They are just smugglers. The medic shook his head. No. Not anymore. That evening, as the colony's power grid came back online, the people gathered in the main hall. Food had been restored. Medicine delivered. The sick were recovering, and yet, no one felt safe. Lurian stood on the platform, his voice firm. We asked for doctors. Earth sent warriors. And though their help came with fire, it came when no one else answered. He paused. Some of you fear them. I understand. But today, we live. Because of them. Outside, the Terran soldiers were already packing up. Their job was almost done, but Commander Isla wasn't leaving yet. On the Judgment, her screen lit up again. A small cargo ship had been spotted at the edge of the system, no signal, flying silent, and headed away from Eliza. Isla gave the order, no survivors. The chase had begun. This wasn't just about Eliza anymore. It was about justice. The Judgment moved like a silent storm across the stars. It did not roar. It did not flash bright colors. It hunted quietly, with speed and cold precision. The small cargo ship tried to run, engines burning hard, heading toward a nearby asteroid belt. It sent no signals, no identification. Its design was older, patched together. A smuggler's ship. But it was fast, faster than expected. Inside the Terran warship, Commander Isla stood at the center of her command deck. Intercept in 3 minutes, her pilot reported. Target engines only, Isla said. We want it alive until we have names. Outside, the space between ships lit up. The Judgment fired a precision beam, thin, invisible to the eye, but deadly to electronics. The smuggler's ship jerked as its engines failed. It spun off course, tumbling into the asteroid field. Got them, the weapons officer said. Board it, Isla ordered. Team 4. Go now. From the underside of the Terran warship, a black pod launched like a bullet. It didn't glide, it stabbed through space. It reached the cargo ship in seconds, connected with a loud magnetic thump, and drilled its way inside. Inside the cargo ship, 3 aliens ran through narrow halls. Their skin was gray and rough, eyes wide with panic. They carried crates, sealed metal boxes marked with the same strange symbol the drones had found on Eliza. The Red Hand Syndicate. One of the aliens opened a crate. Inside, vials. Glowing blue liquid. Identical to the infection that had killed the colonists. Too late, one of them hissed. A door behind them exploded open. Terran soldiers entered without a word. Black armor. Heavy boots. Red visors glowing like fire. One alien raised a weapon. He never got to fire it. 3 shots, clean, quiet. All 3 aliens dropped. The soldiers moved in, scanning the crates. Confirmed, one said through his helmet. Same biological agent. This ship was delivering more orders. Another asked, secure everything. Burn the rest. Back. On Eliza, Lurian stood outside the command center, watching the skies. The colony was quiet now. The infected were healing. The fields were still. One of the Terran medics approached. A woman, short and quiet. She handed him a data pad. These are the infection records. Everything we know. We are leaving soon. Lurian looked at her. Will Earth return if something like this happens again? The woman gave a slow nod. Earth never forgets who it helps. Or who hurts them. He looked down at the data pad. Why do you do it? Why answer our call when no one else did? Her answer was soft. Because no one else will. Up in orbit, the Judgment pulled away from the smuggler ship's wreckage. Fire trailed behind. The destroyed ship as it burned up in a nearby star. The vials had been taken. The crew gone. Isla stood in front of a holo map showing dozens of small red dots. Each marked a system where the Red Hand Syndicate had moved. Where they had traded. Where they had tested. Are we sure this is the full picture? She asked. Her science officer shook his head. No. This is only the edge. Isla stared at the map. Then we go deeper. Below, the colonists of Eliza gathered in the plaza. Children laughed again. Families shared food. Hope had returned, but none of them forgot how it arrived, not with mercy, but with power. Lurian watched as the Judgment turned away and disappeared into space. It didn't stay for thanks. It didn't wait for praise. It had other targets, other crimes to answer. He whispered to himself, we asked for help, and they gave us a sword. And somewhere, far beyond Eliza, those who had sent the sickness, those who thought no one would notice, now felt fear, because the Terrans were coming, and this time, they weren't bringing medicine. The Judgment moved from system to system without warning. It didn't travel like other ships. It didn't wait for clearance. It didn't request permission. It just arrived, and everything changed. The Terrans had found their next lead. A trading station on the edge of neutral space. Old, crowded, forgotten. The perfect place for smuggling. Inside it, the Red Hand Syndicate had a quiet presence. They wore friendly faces and sold supplies, but in the shadows, they moved crates filled with bioweapons. Until today, the station's traffic control officer looked up in confusion as the screen flickered. Unknown signal. He asked aloud, then the power went out. Everyone on the station looked out the viewports. A shadow had blocked the stars again. The Judgment. It floated like death above the station. No lights. No signals. Then, a broadcast. This is Commander Isla of the Terran vessel Judgment. This station is now under investigation for trafficking illegal bioweapons. Do not resist. Panic spread like fire. Some tried to flee. Ships disconnected. Escape pods launched. None made it. Terran interceptors appeared like ghosts, fast and unforgiving. They disabled every ship trying to escape. No one died, but no one escaped. Inside the station, a small team of Red Hand agents ran through the maintenance halls. One of them, a pale alien with 3 eyes, spoke into a communicator. They found us. Who told them? We were buried deep. No answer. The Terrans had already jammed signals. Within minutes, black armored troops had entered the station. Silent. Focused. Each squad had scanners that beeped louder near certain crates, walls, and vents. One soldier stopped and tapped a hidden floor panel. A thin hatch opened, revealing a hidden room filled with sealed vials and coded tablets. The leader of the squad whispered, they weren't just spreading the virus. They were selling it. Back on the Judgment, Isla watched the operation unfold. She turned to her data analyst. Were any buyers Terran? She asked. The man hesitated. Yes. 3 human groups. Off-worlders. All believed the weapons were Alien in origin. Names. Already tracked and marked. Isla nodded. Good. No one's above justice, not even our own. Back on the station, Lurian's message was being replayed on terminals. It had been broadcast by the Terrans on purpose. A warning and a truth. We asked for help. Earth sent warriors. And those warriors brought justice no one else dared to bring. For the citizens of the station, alien and human alike, it was a shock. They had heard rumors of Terran death ships. Of ships that moved without sound and left nothing standing, but now, those stories were real. In the lower cargo bay, one of the captured Red Hand agents shouted, "You have no right. You're not the law here." A Terran officer leaned in close, his voice flat. "We don't need your law. We bring ours." The agent spat. "You think you're heroes?" The officer stood. "We don't think. We act. That's why we win." Above. Isla stood quietly in front of the station leader, an old man with tired eyes who had looked away for too long. He tried to speak. "I didn't know. I only let them rent space." Isla didn't let him finish. "And you never asked what they stored?" "No. You allowed death to pass through your station. You gave it space to breathe. Now you'll answer for it." He hung his head. Outside, the Terran fleet moved into position. Smaller ships began towing all bioweapons into containment. The Judgment sent one last message before leaving the system. "To all who trade in poison, we are watching. And we are not alone." Later, far from the station, in deep space, the Judgment received a signal. Encrypted. Ancient code, Terran military. Isla raised her eyes. That shouldn't exist anymore. The message was short, but powerful. "You are not the only one hunting them." Attached was a symbol, black hand crossed by 3 red lines. An old Terran unit. Disbanded. Forgotten. Or so they thought. Isla's eyes narrowed. Looks like someone else wants revenge too. She turned to her crew, set course. "Let's find out who's cleaning up behind us and why." The hunt was no longer just about justice, now, it was about truth. The Terran deathship Judgment floated in deep space, its hull dark and silent. Around it stretched an endless black sea, cold, quiet, and filled with secrets. Inside the command deck, Commander Isla stuttered the signal again. It had been sent from an old Terran encryption, a code no one had used in decades. The symbol at the end was chilling, a black hand marked with 3 red lines. It was the mark of an old Terran unit called Shade Protocol. Shade Protocol was shut down 50 years ago, Isla said softly. They were hunters. Quiet ones. Operated in the shadows. Her tactical officer frowned. "I thought they were disbanded for going too far." "They weren't disbanded," Isla said. "They disappeared." The message had said only one thing, "You're not alone." Now, Judgment followed the signal's trail. A strange, fractured path through uncharted space. Finally, it led them to a small, broken moon orbiting a gas giant. No life signs. No power. But something was there, buried inside the rock. The Judgment sent down a probe. It pierced through the crust and revealed something metallic underneath, a hangar bay. "Open it," Isla ordered. The Terran warship fired a precision laser, slicing open the surface. Dust and debris scattered into orbit, revealing a long-forgotten base. Rusted, old, and silent, inside were ships. Terran designs, but painted black. Some damaged. Some still intact. And among them stood a figure. A human, still alive, still waiting. A boarding team was sent immediately. As they stepped into the silent hangar, the figure didn't flinch. He wore black armor. Old model. Outdated tech, but still powerful. His helmet came off, revealing a hard face, lined with years of war. "I thought Earth had given up," he said. The team leader asked, "Who are you?" The man gave a slight smile. "Call me Ash." Back on the Judgment, Isla stood before Ashen. "The debriefing chamber, you were part of Shade Protocol," she said. Ash nodded. "Last survivor. What happened to the rest?" "They were killed, one by one. By the same people you're chasing." Isla leaned forward. "The Red Hand?" "No," Ash said. The ones behind them. The red hand is just a mask. The real group has no name. But they've been building these weapons for years. Spreading them quietly. Testing them on weak worlds. No one believed me. So I disappeared. Until now, Isla said. Ash slid a data pad across the table. This is everything. Names. Coordinates. Facilities. Even allies within Earth's own hour rings. That's why I sent the signal. I need judgment to finish what we started. Isla picked up the pad. Her eyes scanned the data. Her jaw tightened at this. Is bad, she whispered, worse than she thought. Entire star systems were listed, dozens of colonies infected or tested. Secret labs hidden in asteroid belts. Weapon trades done under peace treaties. All while Earth focused on other wars. I've followed them alone for 20 years, Ash said. But I can't finish it. Not alone. I need your firepower. Isla stood. Then you have it. The next hour moved fast. The judgment changed course. Its engines roared to life. Destination, Thalos Drift, a hidden facility built inside a shattered comet. One of the largest Red Hand labs, and the next piece in the trail. Back on Eliza, Lurian watched the stars, unaware of the firestorm unfolding beyond his world. But news of Judgment's work had spread across the galaxy. Whispers grew. Terrans were on the hunt. On Thalos Drift, deep inside its metal heart, alarms blared. Scientists packed vials. Mercenaries loaded weapons. And at the center, a tall figure in a white coat stared at a screen. The Terrans found us, he said calmly. One of his guards asked, should we run? The man smiled, no. Let them come. We have something they'll never expect. Outside, the stars shimmered with movement. The judgment was near, and this time, it wasn't coming quietly. The judgment dropped out of warp like a falling sword. Before them lay Thalos Drift, a comet torn in half and hollowed into a secret base. Dozens of defense turrets spun to life. Gunships launched. Missiles armed. The entire station had become a fortress, but the Terrans did not slow. Inside the command deck, Commander Isla stood ready, weapons online. Fully charged, her officer confirmed. Target the power core and weapons array, Isla said. No warning. We strike first. Ash stood beside her, arms crossed. They won't surrender. This place is where they make the worst of it. The real sickness. Isla nodded. Then we cure it the Terran way. The battle began with light. Beams of energy from the judgment lanced through the dark, striking shield barriers and melting turrets. Enemy ships scrambled, but they were outmatched. The Terran deathship was built for this, destroying what shouldn't exist. Inside Thalos Drift, chaos erupted. Alarms screamed. The scientists who once whispered in quiet halls now shouted in fear. Bioweapons were destroyed, data wiped. But it was too late. Terran boarding pods hit the outer hull. Black armored soldiers stormed in room by room. They cleared the base. No mercy. No pause. The Red Hand mercenaries fought hard, but they were broken quickly. At the heart of the facility, the lead scientist, the man in the white coat, stood calmly, watching it all. They found us, he said to his assistant. But it doesn't matter. We already sold enough. Earth's reaction only proves our weapons work. He turned to a large container behind him, a tank filled with swirling blue gas. This one is perfect. A hybrid of 10 worlds. And now Earth will know its pain. Suddenly, the door blasted open. Commander Isla stepped through, her weapon aimed at the scientist. Raised his hands, grinning. Too late, Commander. Your ship can't stop what we've already. A shot rang out. He dropped. Isla stepped past him, examining the container. Ash entered behind her and stared at the swirling gas. This is the source. Yes, Isla said. And it's going into the sun. They took the container and retreated. Outside, the judgment opened its forward bay. A massive launcher emerged, aimed at the nearest star. With a flash, the container was launched, burning into the heart of the sun, where no poison could survive. Back aboard the warship, Isla gave the final order, destroy the facility. No remains. The judgment's cannons roared. Beams cut through Thalos Drift like knives. The comet cracked. exploded. A fireball lit the sector for minutes. It was over. For now, days later the ship returned to Eliza one last time. The people gathered in silence as the Terran soldiers walked among them. This time, there were no drones. No fear. Just quiet strength. Commander Islam met with Lurian near the old medical center. He looked tired but smiled. You kept your word. Islam nodded. The sickness is gone. Those behind it are scattered. Will they return? She looked up at the stars. They'll try. But Earth remembers. And we are not the only ones watching anymore. Ash stepped forward and handed Lurian a small metal box. It's a beacon. If they come back, press that. Lurian stared at it. And then what? Then Earth comes back, Ash said. And we don't ask questions. The people of Eliza gathered in the plaza that night, lighting small candles to honor the lost. But this time, their hearts were full of hope, not fear. Above them, the judgment drifted silently, then vanished into the stars once more. They had come as warriors, they left as guardians, and across the galaxy, word spread faster than ships: do not test Earth's silence. Because when humanity answers, it brings fire.